Good afternoon. My name is Kathleen Chavez, and I am the advisor for Candyce Strickland for this presentation. She was a student in my Methods of Teaching Secondary English class last semester, and I proudly present her to you. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Candyce Strickland and I am at the end of my junior year here at Adams. I have designed a unit plan titled Sense of Self, so it's a study of identity. It's a 10-week unit plan, and if I'm being perfectly honest, it's about 90 to 95 hours worth of work. This was our final project for our Methods of Teaching English class, which is required for my degree, which is English and Secondary Education. The creation of a unit plan like this and me telling you that it's 90 to 95 hours of work really shows what kind of hard work and dedication is required in planning to teach in a classroom. And so for someone who's serious about education, it's important, that's an important piece of information for them to know. The goal of the unit is to help students understand how cultural experiences, societal influences, and adversity help to shape an individual's identity. It's to make sure that students are exposed to cultures other than their own through multicultural texts that explore identity. And at the end, students will demonstrate how their own identities have been shaped by experience through a series of projects. This unit also allows a student to explore their creativity through a teaching method called project-based learning. So project-based learning is a type of instruction that allows students to demonstrate what they're learning through a unit as we journey through it together. So this is a good alternative, instead of having students have to complete a cumulative exam or produce a product at the end of a unit, they're able to show their learning, to demonstrate their learning throughout. Project-based learning enables them to interact with the lessons, to collaborate with their classmates, and then in doing so, they not only assess their classmates, but they're able to assess themselves as they go along. This type of instruction is important because it prepares students not only for furthering their education, so for college, but also for the world outside of academia. Some 21st century skills that are obtained through project-based learning are that students learn how to take initiative and responsibility, to build their confidence, to solve problems, to work in teams, communicate ideas, and to manage themselves more effectively. In this unit, 2 short stories were used and 2 novels. The 2 short stories were Everyday Use by Alice Walker and The Short Happy Life of Frances McComber by Ernest Hemingway. And then the novels were The House on Mingo Street by Sandra Cisneros and Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. The first project was meant to accompany Everyday Use by Alice Walker. Students will be asked to design their own quilts that reflect aspects of their family heritage and their culture and where they came from. In doing this, the plan is that I would provide materials like paper and glue and scissors, but if students wanted to bring fabrics or buttons or anything that they think reflects their family's heritage, they would be more than welcome to do so. And then, as you can see here, the quilts would be pieced together into one huge quilt for the classroom, which would hang on the classroom wall, and above it would say something like our class identity or who are we, something like that. Along with the quilt, the students would complete an I am poem. I'll just read a couple lines here to give you an idea of what it is. So the structure is laid out for them. And it says, I am, and then this line says 2 special characteristics. So they would write, I am funny and brave. I wonder, I hear, I see, I want, so on and so forth. With these 2 projects combined, the students would also be required to present it to the class, which is a skill that is needed in the 21st century, not only in college, but like I said, also in the workplace. And then the next big project would go with Sandra Cisneros' The House on Mingo Street, where students will write their own vignettes that reflect on the roles that their family, their culture, and their heritage have played on shaping their identities. Cisneros writes The House on Mango Street exclusively in vignettes. So every chapter is a different vignette. And what a vignette is a short scene that gives us a brief glimpse into the life of a character or a place. This is a vignette from The House on Mango Street. You know, I can't see it from here, so I want to read a little bit of it to you, but it's too blurry there. It's titled My Name. In English, my name means hope. In Spanish, it means too many letters. It means sadness. It means waiting. It is like the number 9, a muddy color. It is the Mexican records my father plays on Sunday mornings when he's shaving. Songs like Sobbing. It was my great-grandmother's name, and now it is mine. She was a horsewoman too, born like me in the Chinese year of the horse, which is supposed to be bad luck if you're born female. But I think this is a Chinese lie, because the Chinese, like the Mexicans, don't like their women strong. And so this gives us a little glimpse into Esperanza, the narrator of the story and the main character, and what her identity is to the level of her name alone. Aside from the bigger projects, it's important to note that in a unit that's structured around project-based learning, every activity or every piece of work that the students produce aids them in creating their final project. Some of the supplementary activities in this unit, just a couple of them, are one is a personal values exercise, which just helps the students begin to understand what they value in themselves and what they value in life. And then a fun project is the students will be assigned to find and bring into the class a song with lyrics that evoke an emotional response within them. And then throughout the entire unit, so for the whole 10 weeks, and really probably in my classroom all the time, students will keep journals with prompts that lead them to discovery of their individual identities. And finally, the culminating project of the whole unit is a project where students will be required to create their own philosophy of life. So to create this philosophy of life project, students will be able to create an interpretive text of any form of their choosing. So they could write a formal essay, they could present it in a collage, in a painting, a poetry, a drama, performance, a song, etc., anything that they choose. And I did go ahead and put the guidelines here because I think it's important that we kind of show like what our expectations of the students are, and these guidelines help to ensure that the students are obtaining the knowledge that I wish for them to within the unit. So the guidelines for this project are that it should show a clear understanding of your personal beliefs and values. It should communicate a deeper understanding and appreciation of where you came from, family, cultural background, etc., and how that helped to shape who you are. You should demonstrate understanding and analysis of at least one text studied during the unit by incorporating it into your project and relating to it on a personal level. And you must prepare a brief 3 to 5 presentation of your project to the class. So in conclusion, a unit focusing on sense of self, which is what this one is, will help students in understanding the many aspects that shape one's identity. By exploring these aspects through active project-based learning, we will discover together that though where we come from, our families, friends, and life experiences contribute to who we are, we as individuals ultimately determine who we will become in life by the choices we make and the initiatives we take. Thank you all for your time. Any questions? Yes?
I came in just a moment late. Did you say this was for 8th through 12th graders?
Oh, this specific unit plan, which actually I do have here if anybody would like to look through it, I have the entire thing, is adapted for grade 9, but it could easily be 9 through 12. And it could probably be 8 even if you, but I don't know, the subject matter in the novels, maybe 9 through 12, I would say. Yes, ma'am.
What is your rationale for using the texts that you chose for this unit?
First and foremost, they're multicultural. They're by multicultural authors. They explore cultures that are different than what we would see, or a lot of students in our classrooms would see. Maybe besides for in the Valley. There's a little bit of a different dynamic in the Valley. But that's really the main reason why. And then I threw in Hemingway because his narrative style is different than any like adolescent lit would be, because he is more of a classic author. And then all of these stories have a central theme of the main character trying to figure out what their identity is or who they are. So that's why. Yes, ma'am?
What's your dream job when you graduate, and how do you see this project fitting within that?
High school English teacher.
You think you'll just use this?
I hope
unit?
so. The problem is that schools, a lot of times, unfortunately, they kind of tell you what you teach, especially public school. But my hope is that I can use this. This wouldn't be an introductory unit, I don't think, because some of the stuff in here I would need to have established a foundation and a relationship with my students. But I hope that I'll be able to, because it was a lot of work and I'm proud of it, so I hope so.
So do you think if you were to use this unit plan in a school that was directing the study, directing what books you could use, that you could adapt it to the books that the school chose?
Absolutely, yeah. Most adolescent literature really does have a central theme of identity. And even a lot of the classics do, even like what we've been reading, Jane Eyre. A central theme in that is identity, so it would be very easy to adapt. The prompts throughout, like for the journal prompts and all of those things, they're not specific to any book or any story, they're just specific to identity or something that forms identity. Anything else? Okay, thank you.